Hi everyone, welcome back to the next diecast. In today's video I'll be unboxing and reviewing this 1/24 scale 2009 Dodge Challenger SRT8 made by Maisto. I got this model from Amazon Warehouse Deals for just over $11. Thought that was a pretty good deal for it. It did come with a damaged box, which is what you'll pretty much get for Amazon Warehouse Deals items in most cases. You'd see I got the blue version here. Yeah, pretty smashed in box, but the car itself does look fine. This is from the Special Edition Series 1/24 scale. There's the name of the car on the front there. Then you have the side flaps, some stuff on the back, and then you got some stuff on the bottom too. So go ahead and get this out of its very mangled box here. Let's see what we got ourselves into. Take it out from the side. Alright, there's the front end. We'll go ahead and pull this out. And there we go. That blue looks awesome on here. So here's the Challenger. There is some dust on it and everything, which you can also expect for items bought from Amazon Warehouse Deals. Kind of heavy too. This will be held on probably by 2 screws. Yep, so we'll go ahead and get it unscrewed from the base next. Alright, here's the Challenger off the base. In that blue. Very dusty. It looks like we got some stickers holding shut the hood, so we'll pull those off, and then we got to get this strap undone from the doors. See if we can pull it off. Gotta use some scissors. Alright, got the strap cut off. I'll pull it off. Alright, there's the Challenger. And of course you got the opening doors and the opening hood. Now on to the review. Alright, let's take a closer look at this 1/24 scale Dodge Challenger model by Maisto. So Maisto still does currently make this particular model. You can find it in this really cool metallic blue that you see here, which was actually called B5 blue on the real car, as well as the orange version. When Maisto first released this model back in 2009, it also came in silver and black as well. And you can also find a model kit version of this car in black. And Amazon has several different listings for this particular model, as well as eBay. And you can also find this model in stores such as Target and various pharmacies such as Walgreens and CVS, depending on where you actually look. And you can find this model for usually between $15 and $25, depending on where you're actually getting it from. Now, it is worth mentioning that although Maisto calls this a 2008 Challenger, this particular color was first available on the 2009 Dodge Challenger. So that's why I'm calling my particular model a 2009 Dodge Challenger. The modern Dodge Challenger, or in terms of the current Dodge Challenger, I guess, was initially introduced in 2008. And it was kind of midway through that year, so it had sort of an abbreviated model year. So as a result, it only came in a few colors. And then you would, of course, see more colors and wheel styles and other options starting in 2009. And this is different from Maisto's 1/18 scale 2006 Dodge Challenger concept, because the Challenger concept did have a fair bit of visual differences from the production version. So if you want a 1/18 Challenger, in terms of the production version, Maisto does not have a 1/18 scale version of that, but they do have a 1/18 scale version of the concept. So I think as a whole, Maisto does do a pretty good job with this model. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the details. We'll begin up here with the front. You have the 4 iconic round headlights up here. There is a peg in each one, but that would be kind of like where the bulb is on the real car, so I don't think that's a big deal. Each one is separately cast in a plastic piece, which looks very well done. And then you have these 2 kind of center grills on here too. The mesh, as you see, is not fully perforated. It's just kind of textured, but I think for a 1/24 scale car, that's just fine. You have the SRT symbol right here, because this is that particular trim. And then you have the Challenger inscription on the other side there as well, and kind of silver lettering. The fog lights down here are just kind of painted on, but at least there is some depth to them and some, I guess, form and everything. And then you have kind of the separately cast on lower lip down here as well. And then, of course, on the hood, you have the Dodge logo, which looks very well done. Paint quality on the model, I would say, is very well done. This metallic blue really looks awesome on the Challenger. I think in terms of the other colors that Maisto has made for this model, the only other metallic color that you're going to see is the silver version. The orange and the black versions are both kind of a glossy finish that are not metallic, but I still think they're pretty cool colors. But my personal choice would be the blue version. I think it looks the best. And then on the hood, you have these kind of stripes going down the whole length of the hood, which you would see on the real Challenger, 6.1 liter Hemi, which is what this engine is in here. All very well done. And then on the sides, you have nicely cast wheels as well. Kind of your basic 5-spoke wheels that the Challenger came with. I think all the trims came with this specific rim. I think there was maybe a couple of other choices. And as the Challenger kind of was made longer and longer, you of course got more wheel choices and color choices, and of course trim choices as well. Currently, the Challenger has countless color and trim choices, but I think part of that's because they're planning on discontinuing the model in the next couple of years in terms of the real car, the discontinuation of the real car. And then further down the side, you have nice sturdy side mirrors, which are nice to see. And then you have the painted on fuel cap back here. It's not just painted on, it's kind of molded into the metal, so it sticks out a little bit. It's not like a separately cast plastic piece or anything, but at least it is the proper proportion and shape that you would see if this were the real thing. And then you have the painted on turn signals in the front and the rear. That's not a big deal. Maisto usually paints them on anyway. They'd be a bit hard, I think, to replicate as separately cast plastic pieces because they're so small. So not a big deal. Nice sturdy free rolling wheels. You have solid axles, which is a nice touch. And then back here you have that nice kind of taillight bar going on with the Dodge inscription in the center there. And the letters are actually raised up. I like how Maisto did that. They could have just painted it on or used like a sticker or something, but they actually did it as kind of a separately cast portion here. Of course, the letters themselves aren't separate, but I think the badge on here is. So I think that's a really cool touch. And then you have this nice black plastic spoiler back here too, with the SRT8 inscription on this side back here. And then you have that Dodge license plate down there as well. Exhaust pipes aren't that great. They're just kind of molded into the plastic bumper back here. I wish they at least painted these silver. It's okay if they're not like separately cast pieces because Maisto doesn't do that for 1/24 scale cars, but at least add a tiny bit more detail there. But not a big deal, 1/24 scale car. Oh, you also get a sunroof on this model as well. I believe that was an option, if not a standard feature, for the upper trims of the Challenger, at least as far as the 2008 to 10 models went. In 2011, the Challenger was pretty similar, but they revamped the interior a fair bit. You had like a different steering wheel and kind of dashboard look and everything. And then, of course, you saw some numerous changes to the real car leading up to its discontinuation for 2023, or after 2023, I should say. So back to the model. In terms of opening features, you have the opening hood, which opens up like so. And then in here, you have the 6.1 liter Hemi, which is what the Challenger was kind of iconic for when it was first, I guess, re-released. So the engine detail in here, I would say, is very well done for a 1/24 scale model. It is just one single plastic piece, but that's what you pretty much see for all 1/24 scale models. There is some depth to it, and you have some like molded in wires and stuff like that. And you do have the Hemi 6.1 kind of imprinted on the main block here in kind of silver lettering, and then you have the red lettering for that as well. And there is some coloring in there. Of course, the real engine would have, I think, a slight bit more detailing. A fair bit of it is covered by these components that you see here. Same goes for the real version. So, but I think what Maisto does have in here is pretty well done for a 1/24 scale car. And it does look pretty cool up on the shelf like this too, when you have the hood raised. So, nice job, I think. And then, of course, you also have opening doors on the model, which open up like so. The hinges are spring-loaded, so the doors don't open at a very wide angle, but they open up, I think, wide enough for you to see on the interior here. So we'll kind of start with the seats. I think Maisto did an excellent job with the look and texture of the seats here. You actually have two different textures going on here. You have kind of the main sort of leather texture, and then you have kind of these inserts going on as well. And they are kind of two separate textures, and this would be true for the real Challenger as well. The back seats do have a single texture, but they do look kind of accurate, I think, to the real seats. I think they're a little bit maybe on the smallish side, at least as far as the seat backs go, maybe a tiny bit too thin. But I think for 1/24 scale seats, they are pretty well done. Good detailing continues on the door panels, where you have a nice kind of texture going on. It is a bit hard to see here, but it is a leather pattern, and then you have kind of a different texture going on with these kind of center, I guess they're inserts, I guess we can call them. But there's kind of a better view on this side here. There's that leather pattern you kind of see on top there. So I think Maisto did a good job with those. And moving along to the rest of the interior, I think Maisto also did a good job with the dashboard and the center stack detailing. You can see the kind of leather pattern on the dashboard, and then you can see that all the buttons are kind of separately painted and cast into the center stack there. And you actually have a screen sticker on there too. Maisto doesn't always put stickers on their screens, as in like a map or like a, you know, like a car logo or something. I think this one might have a map on it. I can't really tell, but at least they didn't leave it just blank as if it were turned off. So I think that's a cool little additional touch there. And then you have some nice texturing on the steering wheel as well. The center part might be a tiny bit too chunky, but I think aside from that, they do nail the overall look and shape of that steering wheel. And then you have the Dodge badge in the center of that as well. And then of course with the gauge cluster, it is done in a sticker. But the gauges themselves, I think, look accurate on said sticker. There's kind of a better view of that door panel that I was talking about way back here. The handle's kind of on the underside of it there, too. Overall, I think Maisto did a good job with the interior of this model for a 1/24 scale car. Go ahead and close those up. So if you're looking for a good budget model in terms of like a larger scale model of the earlier modern Dodge Challenger, and I say earlier modern as in the 2008 to 2012 or 13 version of the Challenger, I think this Maisto model is a pretty good buy. I'd say in terms of its detailing and quality, it does line up quite well with other Maisto models, and I think it does compete well with even some of the slightly more, I guess, upper end brands of 1/24 scale cars, such as Welly, to name one. You can, of course, still find the blue version that you see here. And I would say if you're a fan of the Challenger or if you're a fan of muscle cars in general, I think this would be a great add to your collection of 1/24 scale cars. As always, feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on the model and the video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.